Chapter 14. The Unfolding. My friends, it is necessary that you understand the necessity of learning how to leave the physical body at will. I want you to understand that the physical body is a house in which we don't have to be prisoners. It is essential to enter the region of the dead at will, to visit the celestial regions, to know other worlds of the infinite space. Outside of the physical body, one could have the luxury of invoking the dear departed that have already entered the doors of death. These will come to our call and we will chat then with them personally. There are magicians, necromancers that know how to invoke the dead in order to make them visible and tangible in this physical world, but we prefer to penetrate the region where they live, visit them, know there in what state they are, etc., etc., etc. Outside of the physical body we could acquire full knowledge on the mysteries of life and death. Outside of the physical body we could invoke the angels in order to converse with them face to face, personally. It is good that you understand that in the past we had other bodies, other existences, and outside of the physical body we can remember them and revive them with total accuracy. The key in order to leave the dense form, to be outside of this carnal body, is very simple. Listen well, hear me. In those instants of transition that exist between vigil and dream, one can escape the body of the flesh at will. A very special case comes to my memory at these moments. Once I arrived at a town and I looked for a hotel, but all the hotels were full. There was not hospitality for anybody. However, I got a lodging in a collective sleeping room of guests. There were many beds where the guests slept. I paid for the last of these beds that remained free and in it I went to sleep. But it happened that, somewhere around midnight, a man knocked at the door, also requesting lodging. The owner of that business led him to our communal room, telling him, "I don't have beds, you see, all are occupied." The passerby protested, saying, "In no part there is hospitality, I will sleep in this living room, although I am in the floor, but for me a simple mattress on the floor, or a carpet or mat and a pillow for my head because I am very tired." The owner of the guest house, moved, consented willingly what the man requested from her. I was awake, seeing and hearing everything. The mentioned passerby, going to bed on the floor, tried to go to sleep. I observed some details. While the man was in vigil, he moved to and fro, like wanting to make himself comfortable on the hard floor. Suddenly he stopped moving, and I then could see, with astonishment, an ovoid grisly cloud that was coming out from between the pores of the whole body. Such cloud floated for some instants above that tired body and finally, placing itself in a vertical position, it assumed the form of the pilgrim. He looked at me fixedly and then left the room walking normally. Here it is, my friends, what always happens in that state of transition that exists between vigil and dream. The pilgrim distanced himself from his dense form. You all do the same, but in an unconscious form. I don't want to say that that gentleman of long ago had carried out a conscious exit. However, the same thing can be carried out at will positively conscious. Really, this is a natural process. Realizing one's own natural processes could never be harmful. To carry out all these functions consciously, instead of making it in unconscious and involuntary form, is in no way dangerous, and, because of this, I put certain emphasis on the necessity of taking advantage of the instant of transition between the vigil and the dream in order to abandon the physical body and enter into the region of the mysteries. There are incredulous people that say, "What can you say about the beyond? What could you know on what there is beyond Tages further up? Maybe you have gone to the other world and returned, etc., etc., etc." My friends, I assure you that with this procedure you could go to the other world and return. I could swear to you by what I mostly love in this life that I go to this other world every time that I want, and that you could also go. The important point is that you should not be afraid. When I want to leave the physical body at will, I take advantage of the instant of starting to doze, the moment in which one is neither sleeping completely, neither awake completely. At that precise moment I do what was done by that pilgrim of my history. I get up smoothly, feeling myself vaporous, fluidic, gassy. I later leave from the room the same as that passerby of the house of guests and I go into the street. The space is infinite, and flying I could travel to all the places of the earth or of the infinite. You could do the same, my good friend, everything depends on you wanting to do it. Above all, one should not identify with the material body. In the precise moment of making the experiment, you should think that you are not the body, understand that you are souls, you should feel like souls, fluidic, subtle, later, feeling so, in such a state, get up simply from the bed. What I am saying should translate into facts, my dear friends. Listen well, you should not start thinking that you are leaving the body, because there you would stay thinking and then would not carry out the experiment. I repeat, translate into facts what I am emphasizing. Do what that pilgrim of our history did. He didn't begin to think that he was going to leave the body, he simply acted, got up from the hard floor where he was put to bed. I repeat with total clarity, he got up subtle, vaporous, and left that place. When will you understand? At what time of the history of your lives are you going to learn to leave the body at will? Do you want to know something of the beyond? Do you want to chat with the divine beings face to face? Invoke them, call them loudly when you are outside of the body. It is clear that they will concur for love toward you, with the purpose of instructing you. All that you need is to abandon laziness and pay attention to the process of the drowsiness. The blankets with which one covers oneself are very pleasant. You find it difficult to abandon the slack, the inertia. Remember that the will is essential, and if you really propose to leave your body at will, you will achieve this if you follow my instructions with accuracy. All the wise men of the past have abandoned the dense form in order to travel consciously and positively in the infinite space. They then chatted with the sacred gods and received marvelous instructions. Outside of this physical world, we could experience all the mysteries of life and death in direct form. Now you will understand why I put so much emphasis in the necessity of learning how to leave from the physical body at will. 1. Master, in order to leave from the physical body, is it necessary to have any kind of learning beforehand, or is there somebody that knows from birth how to do it? Because I have heard many people to say, I do know how to travel in the astral. Could you explain to me if it is the same? Art, my estimable friend, I find your question very appropriate. On behalf of the truth, I should say to you that nobody had to teach me how to leave in astral. I was born with that faculty. For that reason it is that I know the mysteries of life and death. Now you can understand by yourselves the way in which I obtain all this knowledge that I write down in my books. However, my case is not an exception. My wife Lightlantes also knows how to leave from the physical body at will. We leave together, we visit the temples of mysteries, we have helped many people of remote places, investigated mysteries, we have spoken with the gods, the angels, and with the ineffable devas, and we return to the physical body bringing both of us the same memories. This is similar to when two people leave from a house to take a walk on a Sunday and they return talking about the different happenings during their walk. In the different corners of the planet Earth there are many people that know how to leave from the body at will. It is necessary that you also learn how to do this so as to get to know the big marvels from nature and of the cosmos and also what there is beyond death. 2. A master, you tell us that in order to leave in astral it is necessary to take advantage of the moment in which one is between vigil and sleep. In other moments is one able to do it? Our distinguished young lady, I want that you know that when one is already practical in this matter of the exit in astral, one could escape of the physical body at will, even when the carnal body is sitting down or standing up, but, I repeat, this is for very practiced people. The normal, the natural, is to go to bed in order to unfold. 3. Master, could one invoke any master especially so that he helps us to leave in astral? Well, friend, let me tell you that there are invisible beings that help us. However, you could request aid from your own particular divine mother. I refer to your own mother nature, because it is obvious that each one has his own. You should beg her in the name of the Christ that she takes you out from the body in that precise instant in which you are in state of transition between vigil and dream. 4. Master, does any special prayer exist in order to call to our particular mother nature? Could you teach it to us? My pupil, I am going to give you an advice that will serve to everybody. You go to bed face up in your bed with the body well relaxed and grow drowsy, reciting with your thought and with your heart the following prayer. I believe in God, I believe in my divine mother, and I believe in white magic. Mother of mine, take me out of my body. You recite this magic prayer with all devotion and with intensive faith. Pray it millions of times, if there is necessity, while growing drowsy. But you remember that statement that says, to God requesting and with the mallet hitting. When you already feel in that state of lassitude characteristic of the dream, upon beginning in your mind the first drowsy images, conquer your laziness, I beg you, and feeling like a subtle and delicate ghost, do that of the pilgrim of our history in the living room of guests, get up from your bed and leave from your house, understood? 5. Master, could we request to our particular Mother Nature to lead us to a certain place, or does she lead us where we should go in accordance with our preparation? The question that you have asked is a very good one. The Divine Mother knows where she should take us. However, we could also request her that she leads us to this or that other place, and if she wants to do it is all right. But if she doesn't want to take us to where we wanted, but rather to transport us to another different place, we should welcome her decision with pleasure, because it is clear that our Mother knows what we need, what is more appropriate.